Hello everyone and welcome to Scholar. I'm Gaurav and in today's video we'll discuss about the questions that have appeared in your UPSC prelims examination of this year, that is 2020, from ancient history, medieval history and art and culture. So अगर हम नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस की बात करें तो इन तीन सेगमेंट से 11 क्वेश्चन इस बार आपके प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन में देखे गए थे। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट अगर हम डिफिकल्टी लेवल की बात करें तो इसमें से 3 से 4 क्वेश्चन थोड़े ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट थे, जिनका डिफिकल्टी लेवल थोड़ा सा हाई था, और 7 से 8 क्वेश्चन जो थे वो मॉडरेटली डिफिकल्ट थे, थोड़े से कम डिफिकल्ट थे। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एक चीज जो इस बार देखी गई है, क्वेश्चंस हैव डायरेक्टली अपीयर्ड फ्रॉम एनसीईआरटी, दैट इज आपकी स्कूल कोर्स बुक से डायरेक्टली 2-3 क्वेश्चन इस बार के एग्जाम में पूछे गए हैं। सो फॉर फ्यूचर रेफरेंस आप समझ सकते हैं एनसीईआरटी की क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट आवर टुडेज वीडियो। तो हम बी सेक्शन, दैट इज सेक्शन बी के क्रोनोलॉजी में चलेंगे, बट यू ऑल कैन वॉच दिस वीडियोस बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस आर सेम इन एवरी सेक्ट। So the first question is, with reference to cultural history of India, which of the following is correct description of Paramita? Paramita का सही description क्या है? These Paramitas were the perfections whose attainment led to Bodhisattva path. तो ये कुछ perfections थे, इन्हें कहा जाता था Paramitas. These Paramitas refers to the 10 vows or perfections observed by monks in Buddhism. Before becoming a bodhisattva, they have to conquer all these perfections, that is this, they have to adhere to these 10 vows in order to become or live a life of bodhisattva. Now apart from that, this paramita is mentioned in prajnam parita, a Mahayana Buddhist text written in Sanskrit language, in which all these 10 vows or perfections are mentioned. What is the name of this text? Prajanam Parita, and it was written in Sanskrit language. So since it is written in Sanskrit language, हम कह सकते हैं ये महायाना सेक्ट का religious text है. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's move forward. Second is, with reference to scholars, literatures of ancient India, consider the following statement. Panini is associated with Pushyamitra Shung, Amar Simha is associated with Harshvardhan, and Kalidas is associated with Chandragupta too. Which of the statement given above is are correct? Now हम सबको पता है third statement, it is a very common statement. We all are aware of this person named Kalidas. He is also known as Shakespeare of India. His play, one play is very famous, that is Abhigyan Shakuntala. Now, he was one of the court poets of this Chandragupta II. He was in the Navratnas of Chandragupta II. So yes, this makes the statement 3 correct. That is, Kalidas is associated with Chandragupta II. Now, since this third statement is correct, we can rule out this option A. We can eliminate this because this third statement correct is not mentioned here. Now, let's move on. You must have heard about this person Harshvardhan. Now we all know that Harsha's court poet was Bana Bhatt and he wrote Harshcharitra. So this statement is wrong. That is, Amar Simha is associated with Harshvardhan. This Amar Simha, this person is author of the book named Amar Kosh, and this Amar Simha was also one of the Navratnas in the court of Chandragupta II. I hope this is clear to all of you. So both of these, this Kalidas and Amar Simha, they both were associated with Chandragupta II. So you can see this option 2 incorrect and 3 correct. So which makes this, we are left with only option C, because all all the rest of the options have 2 as correct statement. So you could have solved this question easily by elimination method. Now apart from that, this Panini is known for his book named Ashtadhyayi. In this book, Panini gave out the rules of grammars for Sanskrit language. He was not associated with Pushyamitra Shung because Panini lived in the period following the later Vedic age, that is from 520 BC to 460 BC. And this Pushyamitra Shung belonged to Shunga dynasty. He established Shunga dynasty and he is known for revival of Brahmanism in post-modern period. This Pushyamitra Shunga, he organized 2 Ashwamedh Yagya, and that is how we know that he was associated with revival of Brahmanism in post-modern age. I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's move forward. With reference to religious history of India, consider the following statements. First is, Sthaviravadins belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Lokotravadin sect was an offshoot of Mahasangik sect of Buddhism, and deification of Buddha by Mahasangik fostered the Mahayana Buddhism. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? Now, let's talk about the accomplishment of Second Buddhist Council. This Second Buddhist Council took place in Vaishali, and patronage to this council was extended by Ajat Shatru. Oh, arey yaar. Let's take this explanation part once again. Now let's talk about the accomplishment of Second Buddhist Council first. This Second Buddhist Council was held in Vaishali, and the patronage to this Second Buddhist Council was extended by Kal Ashok, who was from Shishunag dynasty. Now, one of the most important development of the Second Buddhist Council was this followers of Buddha, that is Buddhist sons, got divided into two schools. There were Theravadi or Sthavira Buddhist. Again, second offshoot was Mahasangik or Sarvastivadin Buddhist sects. So these were the two sects in which the Buddhist followers of Buddha got divided. What were these sects? Theravadi or Sthavira, and second was Mahasangik or Sarvastivadin. Now again, during the fourth Buddhist council, which held in Kashmir Kundalwan, and patronage to this Buddhist council was extended by Kanishka. Buddhists again broke into two schools, that is this Theravadi or Sthavira became Hinayana, and Sarvastivadin or Mahasangik became Mahayana. So this Sthaviravadins belong to Mahayana Buddhism is an incorrect statement. They belong to Hinayana sect, and this Mahasangik or Sarvastivadin, they belong to Mahayana school. So I hope this is clear to all of you. This statement 1 is incorrect. So you can eliminate option A and option D. Now, the three schools, that is Ekavyavarika, Lokotravadin and Kaukutika, they split off from Mahasangik during the 2nd century after Buddha's death. So there were three schools. This Lokotravadin was one of them, and they were the offshoot of Mahasangik sect of Buddhism. This is a correct statement. It happened after the death of Buddha in 2nd century. Apart from that, this deification of Buddha by Mahasangikas fostered Mahayana Buddhism. Now, we all are aware that this Mahayana Buddhism believed in idol worship, that is बुद्ध की मूर्ति बना के पूजना चालू किया महायाना बुद्धिस्ट सेक्ट ने. बिफोर दिस महासंगिका, इन लोगों ने बुद्धा को एज अ गॉड परसीव करना चालू किया. दैट इज बुद्धा was silent on the question of God, unlike Jainism, who completely disregarded the existence of God. He was of the opinion that this world is existing without a creator. Buddha was silent on the God. And this sect of Buddhism, that is Mahasangik Buddhism, after the death of Buddha, they started considering Buddha as God. And with development, their offshoot Mahayana Buddhism started idol worship. So this makes statement 3 also correct and B the correct option. I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's move forward. Consider the following events in the history of India. Rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoj, establishment of Pallava power under Mahendra Varman I, establishment of Chola power by Parantaka I, and Pala dynasty founded by Gopala. What is the correct chronology of events starting from the earliest times? So you can see you need to find out the correct chronology of events. Now, Mahendra Varman I, this ruler or this Pallava dynasty was contemporary of Chalukya dynasty as well as Harsha. Harsha, that is Pushyabhuti dynasty. They were contemporary to each other. Now, this was the period of 7th century BC. So this, we can say, this was the earliest event to take place amongst the four. So we can easily eliminate option B and option D. After this, we saw Gopala was elected by the people of this Bengal and Bihar as their leader of Pala dynasty. This was the second event to take place. So 2 is followed by 4. So you can mark option C over here. Now, after this, we witnessed the rise of Pratihara King Bhoj, also known as Mihir Bhoj, in the 9th century. So this 2 and 3 is followed by 1, and then we see the establishment of Chola power by Parantaka I in the 10th century. I hope this is clear to all of you. This is given in option C, that is the correct chronology is 2, 4, 1 and 3. Let's move forward. Which of the following phases defines the nature of hundis generally referred to in the source of post-Harsha period? पोस्ट हर्षा पीरियड में, हर्षा के बाद का जो पीरियड है उसमें हुंडीज क्या थे? दीज हुंडीज वर द बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज। ना पोस्ट हर्षा पीरियड में क्या हुआ करता था, लोग अपने पैसे लेकर एक मर्चेंट या फिर जो भी उनको पैसे प्रोवाइड करता था, जो भी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस उस समय के हुआ करते थे उनके पास जाते थे, और ये फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस इनको एक बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज देते थे। जैसे कि किसी आदमी ने वहां जाके 10,000 रुपए जमा करे तो वो एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट इन्हें प्रोवाइड करता था, जो कि लिख के देते थे कि हाँ इनने 10,000 रुपए जमा कर दिए, एंड दीज वर नोन एज हुंडीज। नाउ आफ्टर मूविंग ऑन फ्रॉम हेयर, अगर वो कहीं और जाके ये फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट दिखाते थे तो उन्हें 10,000 रुपए वापस दे दिए जाते थे। तो these financial instruments used to act as a bill of exchange as well. So these hundis were the bill of exchange. These hundis are mentioned in your NCERT. That is why NCERTs are of utmost importance to all of us who will prepare for the next prelims examination. So let's move forward. With reference to history of India, the term Kulya Vyapa and Drona Vyapa denote measurement of land. Now this was one of the most difficult questions from this segment. Now this Kulya Vyapa and this Drona Vyapa have one thing in common, that is Vyapa. This was the unit of measurement of land. हमने गुप्ता पीरियड से देखना चालू किया था जब किंग्स लैंड ग्रांट देना चालू करते थे, एंड बिफोर ग्रांटिंग दिस लैंड दे यूज्ड टू मेजर दिस लैंड, and these were the things that were used to measure land. This Kulla Vyapa and Drona Vyapa were the units that were used to measure the land in Gupta period. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now ये ऐसा क्वेश्चन है जिसमें आप एलिमिनेशन मेथड नहीं लगा सकते। अगर पता है तो सही आंसर ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर मतलब प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग अ क्वेश्चन राइट इज 1/4। तो इस क्वेश्चन को अगर नहीं पता था और जिनने नहीं अटेम्प्ट किया है, दैट वाज अ वाइज डिसीजन। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जिनको पता था उनके लिए तो फिर डायरेक्टली आसान क्वेश्चन बन ही जाता है कि ऑप्शन ए वाज करेक्ट। लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड। Who amongst the following ruler advised his subjects through this inscription? This is the inscription. Now ये क्वेश्चन सिर्फ इस इतने स्टेटमेंट पढ़ने से ही सॉल्व हो जाता। वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दिस इन आवर classroom lectures as well, that Ashoka was the king who used to advise his subjects through his inscriptions. Now let's take a look at what he has to say in this inscription. This was, whosoever praises his religious sects or blame other sects out of excessive devotion to his own sect with the view of glorifying his own sect, he rather injures his own sect very severely. So these lines, this inscription was given out or was made out by Ashoka. ये question again, this question is directly from your NCERT course book of 11th class. Ashoka was the first king in the ancient history to talk to advise his subjects डायरेक्टली थ्रू हिज इंस्क्रिप्शन। अशोका इसलिए अपने इंस्क्रिप्शन प्राकृत लैंग्वेज में इशू करता था, जो कि लैंग्वेज हुआ करती थी मासेस की एट दैट टाइम। मासेस यूज्ड टू कम्युनिकेट इन प्राकृत लैंग्वेज, एंड संस्कृत वाज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ कोर्टिजियंस एंड एलीट इन दैट टाइम। और Ashoka was also known for his religious tolerance, and he propagated this religious tolerance through his Dhamma. और अशोका के 7th रॉक एडिक्ट में अशोका ने दिस पॉलिसीज ऑफ धम्मा को प्रोपोगेट किया है। So you could have easily made out that Ashoka was the person. He's known for his religious tolerance policies, and also he's known to advise his subjects through his religious inscriptions. I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's move forward. Next is, with reference to history of India, consider the following pairs: Bhilsa, Madhya Pradesh; Dwar Samudra, Maharashtra; Girinagar, Gujarat; and Sthaneshwar, Uttar Pradesh. Now, which of the pair given above is correctly matched? Now, अगर इसमें से आपको कोई एक भी पता है तो आप इजीली नीचे के से दो ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो, और आपकी प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग एन आंसर राइट विल बिकम 1/2 इजीली। जैसे कि आई एम फ्रॉम मध्य प्रदेश, सो आई कैन से दैट दिस भिलसा इज इन मध्य प्रदेश. This Bhilsa is the ancient name of Vidisha district of Madhya Pradesh. This Vidisha district is famous for two things. One is Heliodorus pillar or Garud pillar, and second is one stupa was constructed here by Ashoka, that is Sanchi Stup. So this Bhilsa is very important. This is nothing but Vidisha of Madhya Pradesh. So I can easily eliminate option C and option D. Now apart from that, this Girinagar and Gujarat, this Gir and Gujarat Can you relate something? Gir National Park, Girnar Range, all of them are in Gujarat, and this Girinagar was also in Gujarat. So which makes option A the correct answer. Apart from that, this Dwar Samudra, this was the capital of Hoysals of South India. So this is again, capitals are very important to all of us. Capitals अपने आप में बहुत ही important cities होती हैं. Sometimes एग्जाम्स में डायरेक्टली कैपिटल के नाम पूछ लिए जाते हैं, जैसे कि ये द्वार समुद्र हॉयसल की कैपिटल थी, ये महाराष्ट्र में नहीं थी. दिस वाज समवेयर अराउंड कर्नाटका रीजन. सो दिस ऑप्शन 2 इज करेक्ट, इनकरेक्ट. Apart from that, this Sthaneshwar, this was not in Uttar Pradesh, it was in Kurukshetra district of Haryana. So this is again incorrect. Let's move forward. With reference to the period of Gupta dynasty in ancient India, the town Ghantashala, Kadura and Chaul were known as, they were the ports handling foreign trade. Again, this question is from NCRT. This Ghantashala and this Chaul are mentioned in your NCRT, that they were the port cities that used to handle the trade of Gupta dynasty. Gupta dynasty is known for their trade in these initial phases. They were known for their trade with foreign lands. Now, this Ghantashala is located in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. Apart from that, this Chaul is located 60 kilometers south of Mumbai. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, the question is directly appearing from NCRT again. So, this makes NCRT very important. Let's move forward. With reference to cultural history of India, consider the following pairs. Parivrajak, renunciate and wanderers, and Shraman, they were the priests with high status, and Upasakas, lay followers of Buddhism. Now again, हम सबको पता है Upasaka is very famous term. Upasaka were the lay followers of Buddhism. So हम 3 को correct mark करते हुए A को eliminate कर सकते हैं. Now apart from that, these Shramans, these were those who practiced an ascetic or strict self-denying lifestyle in pursuit of spiritual liberation. They were commonly known as monks and not priests. They were not the priests but the monks. So this option 2 is incorrect. So we can easily eliminate C and D, which makes option 1 and 3 correct. That is B the correct answer. I hope this is clear to all of you. मैं आशा करता हूँ आप सभी का एग्जाम बहुत अच्छा गया हो और आप सभी मेंस एग्जामिनेशन लिखें. For more such videos, log on to Scholars. Thank you.